So you all may know that Joe and I have very busy schedules. Mine's more because I'm like traveling again and doing trainings and stuff. And Joe, because he has 3 kids all of a sudden. So,
Great.
so we've been having a hard time like connecting to record our podcast episodes. So what we decided to do is for now, we're going to just use the weekly We'll Decide Wednesday as like our podcast recording time, but within the wheel. So we need to get some more topics on the wheel that are ABA oriented, and we can still have some fun topics on there too. And it'll just kind of be a hodgepodge of things. So right now our wheel is pretty barren because I just deleted pretty much everything off of it. So real quick before we spin the wheel tonight, does anyone have suggestions of like more ABA related topics to put on the wheel? So I'm going to put one is trauma. I'm going to put like a conference, just generic. So we could talk about upcoming conferences or conferences we just went to. Anybody else have ones they want us to add to the current wheel?
We can always talk about supervision as well.
Okay. Should we put burnout on there? I know that's a hot topic lately.
Yes, burnout.
Yeah, I was going to mention favorite assessment, but you might be biased.
I'll just put assessments. Anybody else? Let's see, chat. Weirdest thing you've taught, peak life. Amarilla said, how did I make it to another podcast episode? I'm going to make this a little broader and put functional assessments. And then I don't know if I want to say weirdest. Let's say most unique. Okay. I think that should be good for right now. Yeah. Looks good. All right. I'll apply the wheel changes. And while I'm doing that, I guess we didn't really do our like opening. So hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Megan Miller.
And I'm Joe Smith.
And this is We'll Decide Wednesday / the Do Better podcast for right now until we have time to record episodes. But for those of you who like listening to the Do Better podcast, you should be happy to know instead of listening to 2-hour episodes on a topic, you just listen to like a 10 or 15 minute one, which is how most podcasts work. So
unless you're Joe Rogan or like any of those celebrities that have like 4-hour podcasts now.
Oh, they do. They started taking a tip from us, I guess. They must have been listening to our podcast and decided they should do a longer version of theirs. So welcome to our live podcast recording. I'm gonna go ahead and spin the wheel as soon as I share to one more place. Thank you to those of you from the collective that have unknowingly joined us for this live podcast recording. Hopefully you'll continue to join us for future We'll Decide Wednesdays where we are. I mean, we're keeping the same format like completely. So we're still each only going to talk for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which will really teach me how to shorten my soapboxes. And then whatever comments or things, you know, people listening want to share, feel free to do so. All right, let's get this wheel going. And we can still put fun topics on here. We just don't really have them right now. And if there's anything ABA related that you want us to add to the wheel, let us know. All right, supervision is our topic tonight. That was one that Joe contributed. Joe, would you like to go first or no?
Yeah, and so we can talk about anything we want about supervision.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to start my time for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. My dogs are rambunctious right now, and they're super like excited to be downstairs. So hold on. All right, I took away the squeaky toy. All right, so I'm going to start now. Supervision. So my idea that I want to talk about for supervision is how important it is for us to create or have a concrete way of delivering effective supervision when it comes to our future BCBAs that are working towards a coursework. I feel like that is so important for us to, together as a field, have a way to measure and also track the progress of our supervisees, and have a way of assessing to see where they're at. So then they can see where they're at as well, based on the skills. I know when I went through supervision, how I showed that I was competent in an area according to the task list is by I had a portfolio that I carried, and that thing is like thick, like I'm talking about War and Peace, like thick. And that thing I carried around for 2 years and I loved it. However, I still think that there are better ways of addressing that concern with showing competency and tracking it. So when I went to FABA this year, I attended a workshop on the ABA Supervision Handbook, and it was absolutely amazing what the authors have done. If you don't know, it's Hannah Jurgens, and please correct me if I'm messing up the names because I'm horrible with names. Dr. Carly and Dr. Yamel Cruz. Awesome. All right. So
Sorry, yeah, you had Ulema's last name right, but it's Ulema.
Ulema. Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's where so I just saw their supervision handbook, and I absolutely love the structure of it. It's super well thought out, planned out, and it reminds me so much of the AFLs. And I'm super excited to this tool being in our hands now that we can use. And that's my time.
Yay, I'm so happy that you brought up the supervision handbook when you were like, there has to be something better than carrying around this portfolio. We had to make a portfolio for FSU as well. And Ulema was an FSU grad, so she was very familiar with that. Feel free, for those of you who are watching live on Facebook or here in the chat on Zoom with us, to comment what you like to use for supervision resources or anything else that's on your mind about supervision tonight. So Leslie said she uses the ABA supervision handbook now as well. I will try to drop a link in the chat. So for those of you who haven't seen it yet, you can check it out. And we also have a webinar that they did on it to share information about how it's structured and things like that. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and do mine. So it's so funny that supervision came up because I was just working with Dia, the behavior man, today and yesterday on a new special event that we will be announcing. So y'all get to hear about it first on Friday. Who doesn't want to hang out with behavior man and Dr. Megan Miller on a Friday night? It's Friday, November 19th. So in about a week and a half, we're going to be hosting a 2-hour supervision event, but it's going to be focused on RBT supervision specifically. And he's so creative. It's called 10 Things Your RBTs Hate About You. So we'll be going through 10 different, areas that RBTs have given feedback on where the supervision they've been receiving isn't up to par, and how we could behave differently as supervisors and make sure we're performing well for our RBTs. So I'm super excited. We have a few different events planned with Dia for different continuing education content. And I don't know, I was thinking about this today as I was driving. Some people just, know him as behavior man and the fun, different, graphics and things that he creates and swag and stuff. But if you've never seen him present, he is such an amazing presenter. He always does an Ignite at FABA. He didn't this year, but his Ignites are always some of my favorite. He raps during one, I think a couple times. And he's done a few, like I've seen him present at ABAI and FABA just in regular presentations as well. And he comes with as much energy as you would imagine he would come with based on his posts and things like that. So he always has a really unique way of looking at things too. So super excited about that. And we did at the Defy conference this past week, we did a workshop on motivational interviewing and burnout for yourself. But there was a lot that came up for me in that workshop about how we could use the content to help people learn how to better support their staff. So if you're a supervisor, like different exercises and things you could do to support your staff. So hopefully that's some content we'll be creating as well around supervision. And yeah, I just want to continue to say for the ABA supervision handbook, if you're not using it and you're looking for a way to measure performance, that's going to be your best bet right now. Yay. Look at that.
Perfect.
And you all know I have so much more to say, but I fit it into 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So we have Amaryllis, Emily, Leslie, and Michelle on from the collective. Do any of you have supervision thoughts today that you want to share?
I can share. One of the tools I'm currently using with my supervisees is the Supervisor ABA platform. And I really like that because they have it all divided by the task list. And then depending on the different items, they have different activities that you can do. So there's research articles and just really creative activities that go with the task list item. So that has been really helpful.
Oh, that's cool. Do you have a link to that, Emily, that you could share? I know you kind of
Yeah,
said
I'll put it in the
but
chat. I think it's just Supervisor ABA. I'll double check.
Okay. So I just put in the chat on Facebook. If I'm organized enough when I publish this, I'll put it in the show notes. The link to the ABA supervision handbook on WND Press, and then I'll put the webinar on there too. Leslie, Amaryllis, Michelle, did you all have anything you want to share?
That was me, Amaryllis.
Oh, Amaryllis. I'm so sorry. It sounded like Emily's voice. I wasn't looking. I'm multitasking. Thank you, Amaryllis. So sorry. Okay. Emily, Leslie, or Michelle have anything you want to share?
No, I've just started digging into that handbook, and Carly actually said I could Facebook Messenger her and set up a time to talk. So I'm excited to do that.
That's awesome. She's so amazing. We have Jenna Lee on Facebook Live said she seconds the recommendation to use the ABA supervision handbook as well. So that's awesome. Super exciting. All right. Well, that's our format for right now for the podcast episodes and We'll Decide Wednesday. I'm the queen of efficiency. So, I'm always going to figure out a plan to make sure our things are happening. Hopefully things will settle down a little bit in 2022 and we can get back to recording some episodes. But in the meantime, let us know in the comments or shoot us an email what topics you want us to add to the wheel that might be more clinically related, and we can put those topics on. I saw there was one more added to the chat here from the collective about your ABA heroes. So I will add that as well. And what did Michelle say? I still don't have much of a voice. I agree with the handbook, and also learning RBTs as the unique people that they are. It can be a challenge to know who responds best to what type of feedback. And Amaryllis said, Shannon has these awesome flashcards. I can find the link to and post them. Awesome. Thanks, awesome. Amaryllis. Joe, any closing thoughts?
No, I kind of like this format just because we're getting into that busy time of year where we're having holidays, days off, and it's going to be busy. So, I kind of like this format for now, and let's see how it goes.
Awesome. So every Wednesday, y'all can join us for We'll Decide Wednesday / a live podcast recording and share your thoughts on whatever topic comes up on the wheel. It's most likely going to be like clinically ABA related, but we're still going to have some fun ones too, because we need to have a break in all of the, work we do all the time. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.